Shiver has won an astonishing 64%, or 7 out of the 11 splatfests held in Splatoon 3. And when the game was first shown off, Shiver was immediately declared the best idol by the majority of the community. Combine this with the fact that she's had a massive winning streak, a very large amount of people like to assume that Shiver earned her wins not for the theme that she represented, but that people simply chose Shiver to represent their favorite idol. However, I think this is one of the stupidest and most incorrect discourses we have had in the modern Splatoon community. Why? Well, first things first, please do not yell at me in the comments yet. This is my take. Please wait for me to explain it fully before you start yapping. In my opinion, the reason Shiver has won nearly 2/3 of the past Splatfest is because she has simply had the best themes, in some cases by a long shot. Especially with the more objective-based questions, Shiver has mostly received the correct or best answers. But if you still don't believe me, I'm gonna go in depth with each of her wins and discuss why it could or could not be because of favoritism. Starting off with gear vs grub vs fun. This unfortunately is an extremely objective-based question. Fun is immediately off the table, leaving just two proper options. Food is by no means a bad option, but once you run out, you're kinda screwed. If you had gear though, not only could you manage to get yourself a clean water supply, but even scavenge and prepare a food source. For this reason, I believe that gear is by far the best option here, and the popularity definitely confirms that, meaning that Shiver won this fest because of the theme, not her favoritism. Next up, the Nessie vs Alien vs Bigfoot fest. This still holds as the worst balanced Splatfest, with Bigfoot having a measly 8% pick rate. And here, we saw that while Shiver's team didn't actually end up winning popularity, they did win the whole thing. Getting objective here, it's very likely that aliens do exist, which makes sense why it won popularity. The popularity was super close though, and while Shiver did not have the objectively best answer, this could have been influenced by Shiver support. The Zelda Splatfest is very interesting because the pick rate was quite balanced this time, and for once, we see an entirely subjective question. However, Shiver did pull through with a full sweep, and I bet the fact that Shiver was on Team Power did influence some people's choice. So, Shiver could have swayed the votes here. The Ice Cream Splatfest was also an entirely subjective Splatfest, this one being quite unbalanced, with Vanilla having a 55% pick rate. You could argue that Shiver swayed the votes here, and you wouldn't be entirely wrong. However, I personally feel like this had more to do with the fact that Vanilla is just the most accessible ice cream flavor. If Big Man ended up having chocolate instead of mint chip, like he should have, I honestly think this Splatfest would have been way more balanced. So for this one, I'll say that Shiver could have swayed the votes, but I don't personally think she did. Money vs Fame vs Love is an easy one. Shiver did not at all interfere with the votes because this is an objective question. You don't need fame or love to live life. I'm sure that you would like to have them, but to live a life, you need money. There's no way around that. So Shiver absolutely just had the best theme here and did not sway the votes. I really don't have anything to say about this one. It's obvious that Shiver swayed votes here because, well, that's the whole point of the Splatfest. And finally we arrive at the most interesting Splatfest, the recently taken place handshake vs fist bump vs hug. When the news broke, people on Twitter immediately went, "Oh my god, I can't believe Shiver won again, oh my god!" But the extremely critical detail they failed to look over is the votes. Team Handshake had a measly 18% pick rate, and you might now argue that the Japanese influenced Shiver's win, but no, because this was the first regionally separated Splatfest. And guess what? Fry won this time, Japan's least favorite idol. At least to me, that's enough evidence to prove that there never was idol favoritism in the first place. Handshake won this because a legitimate skill diff. There was nothing to do with Shiver's favoritism at all. Now, this is not to say that Splatfest is a good system. It really isn't. There's videos from people like Captain Astronaut and Shuriken Blade going in depth on why the mode is bad, but that's a story for another video. So in total, Shiver could have influenced 4 of her 7 wins, but more likely influenced 3. That's 36 or 27% of the total Splatfest. And there's a very crucial word in those sentences. Could have. In my opinion, the go-to greeting Splatfest with Handshake winning off skill and nothing more, with Fry winning in Japan, is enough proof to me that there never was favoritism in the community. If there's any favoritism towards Shiver, it's gotta be from Nintendo for giving her the objectively correct themes. Alright, and now that I've given my take, feel free, roast me in the comments. I want to hear your guys' takes. If you want to learn a little more about Splatfest themes and why they're kinda mid now, go check out this video from my man Shuriken. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed this stealth drop. I'll see y'all in December.